Hello, everybody. Welcome to the most important session today. No, that's a joke, but it's especially the most creative one. Welcome to the grand showcase where the brightest minds from the EasyToU Makeathon will amaze you with their innovations. Nothing more, nothing less is happening in the next 2 hours. And I welcome everybody, but I welcome especially our local Makeathon winners from all the EasyToU cities. It's good to have you here. Nice to have you here. And we're really looking forward to hearing more about your solutions. But before we do, let me allow a quick look into the background. First of all, I want to clarify make a what. So what is the Makeathon? And then why is the Makeathon? And then, of course, the most important part, let's hear them, so our solutions. And I want, for the first half, we have the presentations divided in 2 parts. We'll have a little break in between. But I'd like to invite the teams and the representatives from the local winners in Coimbra, Iași, Jena, and Pavia to the stage to take a seat, please. Come here. Come here. Max, you also come here. Just the teams from the first round of presentations. Make yourself comfortable. So sit down. So also hello to the colleagues connected online. So good to see you here on the stage. Wish you were here with us, but we can, we can do hybrid all day long. So let's do it in that way. So first of all, make a what? I've been asked that question many times in the past year. So a Makeathon, combination of the words make and marathon, is an interactive event that brings together participants to collaboratively develop creative solutions within a designated time frame. In our case, we had 24 hours to make that happen. And we have decided to bring the people together in 4 areas. We have collected the challenges in 4 areas, closely related to the EasyToU UN SDGs, peace and democracy, happiness and well-being, as well as nature and sustainability, and inclusion and diversity. We had in total 82 participants throughout all our EasyToU cities, as well as online. We had 23 real-life challenges, which is a lot. I know other Makeathons that could only, whip up like 7. So we did a really great job in also connecting the stakeholders, the cities, the partners from the municipalities, from the universities, from the companies, to submit challenges that could be then tackled. As I said, we had 6 local events and 1 online event. So that was a really a tough task to make that happen. And this is why I want to say thank you to everybody who made that happen, to you, the participants, to the challenge givers, to the universities, the cities, the companies, also the workshop facilitators. We had nice workshops running up to the event, and of course, all the organizing teams. So thank you very much for your work. Okay, now the second question, why is the Makeathon? And we have very geometrical answers here. So first of all, we have the knowledge square. You might be familiar with that particular square, because this is really one of the key frames of our EasyToU Alliance, because we don't want to do research, but we also want to do education, innovation, and service to society. So with all our endeavors in the Alliance, we really think along the whole knowledge square, not to get stuck at one corner, but to really think how can we bring that also back into society. So that is the first answer to the question, why? Why do we need such a Makeathon? Really to bring all the knowledge, also the knowledge of the participants, the students, also the knowledge of the citizens, back into society, because this is really the way to do. And the second, the circles. In our work package, we really wanted to create and consciously design different steps of working together. that starts with simple networking and to structured networking, cooperation, and then collaboration. And collaboration is all about co-creating solutions. And we had different formats for all of those stages. So we really consciously decided or thought about which formats do we need to facilitate networking, to facilitate structured networking, but also collaboration, which of course is the hardest task. So these are the two questions. First of all, going back to society, and on the second hand, also how to jointly go back to society and find solutions. But that's enough from me for now, because we are here not to hear me talk, but to hear you guys talk. You all gained the ticket to Poitiers, so welcome again. I'm not from here, but welcome again to Poitiers. We're really glad to have you all here. And let's start with the local winner from Coimbra with the topic, let's switch, promoting sustainable and healthy eating habits and physical activity. So João, stage is yours.
So, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is João Pratas. I came from Coimbra, and I'm here to present our solution, Seeds on Wheels. Seeds on Wheels, we sow events, we cultivate change, and we harvest sustainable communities. Our vision is to build resilient, educated, and united communities through the power of food. Sorry, late. But why food? Food is a common good. It's a basic need, essential need for life. It is also the great connector, the unifying language that cuts across ages and income and culture and territories. Nobody can be left out. For the other hand, food system is completely broken. We know that it has huge negative impacts in human health and also in environmental sustainability. And the predictions said that we face a 17% increase in food production by 2050. And for us, realizing the vital role food plays in our lives, health, and planetary sustainability is crucial and urgent. And the first step is to educate and raise awareness. And we believe that those who influence large communities have the power to lead this change. And thus, what we are doing. The transition in Europe has begun, we know that, but information remains fragmented, disconnected, and failing to engage the broader public. How should it be? Informed citizens and communities are the drivers for shifting to healthier, sustainable, and local food systems. So how can you connect city key stakeholders and engage local youth communities to become part of this food transition? We present Seeds on Wheels, a movement that organizes special pop-up events around food awareness and education. Our mission is to drive the transition to healthy, sustainable, and local diets together with the institutions and local authorities, promoting best practice in their communities. These pop-up community special events, they have a curated agenda. They educate and raise awareness. They promote partnerships and collaborations. They map and consolidate a network. They are local-based, sustainable, replicable, and scalable. Again, sorry. No. Here you can identify our client segments, but they all have one thing in common. They have the power to impact large communities. And we are talking about local and regional governments. We are talking about institutions and foundations, business and corporate sector, but also the major event promoters. Here is the structure of our idea, but I just wanted you to pay attention to the left part. The left part is our three components: to Seeds on Wheels work, we need three basic components. The first one is a physical platform that moves through the city, holding the events. The second one is the online platform that's mapping the stakeholders, create the network. And the most important one is the business part. So the yellow part, they are our partners. And our partners is the most important part of our solution. But why they are so important? Because they are the partners, they feed the network and they carry out the activities of the events. We are talking about associations, cooperatives, change makers, local business, projects, initiatives. So entities that showcase sustainable commitment or they are leading the transitions in the food systems. But what specific activities will these partners facilitate? So we are talking about educations, workshops, show cookings, food tasting, talks, presentations, concerts, interactive games. They are showcase stages. They do networking, speed datings, and mainly public space activation. So this is the financing required. I think I'm going to skip this part. So the opportunity, the opportunity is now. There has never been a better time to start education in your communities on such crucial topic. First, the power of the consumer. The food system shifts from a supply-driven to a consumer-oriented market. The growing, exponential growing of the funding and the interest of international agendas, also the sustainable events, also the sustainability certifications of the corporates. And in the end, I would like to invite everyone to join us to our pilot event and let's sow the seeds of change together. This is the first step towards the food transition in the EC2U Alliance. So the first event will be here in Poitiers. So I'm going to explain you a little bit the journey, how this could work. So first, we get together and create partnerships on a top-down level with Grand Poitiers, Le Ville de Poitiers, l'Université de Poitiers, also the Neology Technopole. After we are going to start the mapping the stakeholders, the local business, the local projects that we want to leverage with our initiative. After that, we create the agenda, a curated agenda with all of these stakeholders. And we want that these events, they are very interactive, so we want to put these different partners interact with themselves also. After, we set up in Place d'Armes to organize the event. We do an event with activities, with show cookings, workshops, showcase. After, we sow the seeds. So new partnerships, new network members, and in the end, we do an impact assessment and we prepare the second event that is going to be held in Coimbra. Here you can see an agenda of the main day event. So we are going to start at 3 with a showcase of local products of Farm Bio 86, that is a close-by farm here in Poitiers. After, we are going to have a biodiversity and nature-based solutions workshop with Vienne Nature. After that, we are going to do some talks and active matchmaking with us and Agora, that is like a very special project here in University of Poitiers that I look for, like a solidarity project that they have here related to food. After, we are going to have a show cooking and aperitif with Grande restaurants, and we are going to finish with the party by Comfort Modern and Agora Radio. Oh shit, it's not the correct one. Sorry, it's not the correct one, but it's okay, it works anyway. This is the device closed in the square. And this is happening with the event here with the show cooking, after with the restaurant. And we have the success metrics. So one pop-up event, we have 300 people educated. We have 15 new activities, 10 new partnerships. We just used 50 square meters to hold this event. We have 30 new members, and we mapped at least 100 actors in 10 square kilometer radius. And the duration of the event is 3 days during 24 hours. And a scalable model for community education. First, community-based approach, run by locals for locals and replicable anywhere in the world. This is our team. Join the SO movement and to begin the food transition. Thank you all.
So thank you very much for that first presentation. As you could see, we have a bit more time this time, so there's no rush. I don't have my stopwatch going yet, so all good. You have less pressure this time. Just enjoy the presentation. You also have you in the audience, and also maybe the people connected online can ask some questions. So if you have any questions, you just raise your arm, and then after the presentations, we can you can address the presenters directly. So, are there any questions just yet? You all thinking about that show cooking, probably? Yeah, I see nodding. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much for the presentation. I think it's a very interesting initiative. I like food tasting. I like, to see show cooking. I like concerts. So I like many of the activities that you proposed. But I have a question, very precise question. Talking about sustainability, as you were planning to organize different events in different locations, I would be interested to know, I don't know if you mentioned it in the presentation, what kind of measures do you have in mind to reduce the footprint, the environmental footprint of your events, if you have any measures? Because, we are talking about big events that, of course, can have an impact on the environment. So do you have any measures on that? Yes. Already? Yeah? Sorry. Thank you.
Of these parties, events, is to bring the local actors. So if I'm already bringing the local actors of the biological farms, the mushroom productions, whatever, I want to highlight and give stage to the local projects, local business, cooperatives, associations, whatever. So in that sense, I'm already working just with a local approach, in a local approach. That's the idea. So I'm not going to bring mushrooms for China or for me. For the idea is completely the opposite. The idea of these events is to give stage to the local stakeholders that are operating already in the food transitions. So I'm giving stage to them. So probably they are going to bring their lettuces and their vegetables and their food from the local markets and the way they play it already. So that's...
Thank you.
So thank you very much. We're moving now on to the next team. Joao, if you could just, move forward. Sorry. No, you can do it. Just...
Because I miss the main image is not showing. I want to show you later. Just later after that.
At the kick-off meeting on Saturday, the 14th. Just show it. Yeah. All right, we now move on to the team from Yash. They have the challenge, or the title of their solution is Teleportation Engage! ! So thank you for being here, and stage is yours.
First of all, I'd like to invite my colleague Radesh to come next to me and help me with the presentation. We've worked together, and also with my colleagues Alexandra and Sergio back home. So the proposed challenge for the Makeathon was entitled Teleportation Engage. The challenge revolves around the idea of reducing traffic congestion, to reduce the time spent in traffic, and also to reduce the pollution caused by traffic. As you can see in the image on the left side of the presentation, which is an actual image from our city, Iași, we see that we actually have problems with traffic congestions, but also we have problems regarding the parking places for our cars, leading drivers to park on the side of the road, and therefore the other drivers have to drive on the tram. we know that these problems actually cause stress and anger issues to most drivers. And also, traffic congestion pollutes the air we breathe. Therefore, we look at traffic congestion as the root of our many problems.
We've analyzed the problem from the point of view of the three main actors. Firstly, there's a root in the personal causes. The individual refuses to give up on the comfort of the personal vehicle. That may be because of a demanding lifestyle, the inefficient route planning, or poor driving habits. As for the administrative causes, there's a lack of investment in public transit, insufficient road infrastructure, and also inflexible school hours. As for the private agent, they're responsible for inflexible working hours. Thus, people share a common schedule and a common daily commute. As for the traditional solutions for the problem, there are the personal solutions of use of alternative means of transportation, carpooling, efficient route planning, or obeying traffic rules, obviously. Also, for the administration, there can be a better investment in public transit, better road infrastructure, flexible school hours, smart technology integrations, and fast lanes for carpooling. As for the private agents, they can give a more flexible schedule for work and also promote a proactive means of transportation.
In order to combine all these solutions from the three pillars that we discussed, we propose an app based on a reward system that promotes the use of alternative transportation. The app should be called IAST Transport Solutions, or ITS for short, with a logo in the image. And the user of the app gains points through carpooling or ride sharing, through the use of public transit, or through walking and cycling. Then the users actually use these points for discounts at stores, such as cafes, restaurants, or any other stores that want to be included in the application, for access to cultural events and places such as theaters or concerts, or to gain reduced public transit fees. All of these benefits of our app actually lead to the civic engagement for the use of alternative transportation means. Another idea, in order to actually teleport through the use of our phone, we have thought about the use of augmented reality and generative artificial intelligence as a lens for looking in the past through the use of our phone. This would encourage people to walk to their destination, to collect points in the app, and be able to spend their time observing the history of their surroundings.
We also analyze the pros and the cons of the proposed app through the lens of the same three main pillars. For the user, it would lead to benefits on health, social engagement, and money saving, but it would lead to a loss of personal comfort. For the local administration, it would mean increased tax revenue, increased financing, and less city pollution, but there would be a greater need for infrastructure improvements. As for the economic agents, it would lead to increased exposure, maximizing their profits and leading to more clients, but they would generate extra immediate costs for participating in the app. As such, the main benefits of our proposed solution would lead to better civic engagement, thus connecting the citizens and the administration and private sector, and leading to an overall healthier lifestyle and a better environment. As a call to action, since teleportation is not yet available, we suggest public transit, the second best option.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Do you think that the providers of rewards, like restaurants and so on, are ready to, how would you convince them to accept to participate to that game? Because of course, without these rewards, it will be maybe less effective. So how would you convince them that there is an interest for them?
Well, I think that the increased exposure through the app, which is basically free publicity, and also these rewards are not like we go and get something for free, which is more or less a discount, a percentage discount. Therefore, I think that they will be happy to gain more clients and increase the exposure to the use of our app and lose 10-20% of their profit, which I think is not really that bad. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, the team from Yash. We're now moving to Team Jena and to Max and Jette. And Jette, Max, you are here. And Jette will be connected online, so I hope that we will be able to see her in a second. So thank you for joining us from Hamburg, where you're doing your internship right now. And we're happy to have you here online. And Max, you can come here. So is it possible to have both?
Hello, everyone. Thank you that you give me the opportunity to be here. So we had the challenge how we can counteract social divisions through digital offers like the education bike. The education bike, it's a project from the city of Jena. Later on, my partner Jette will explain to you. What's the problem we have? Our society is increasingly becoming divided, while a sense of community is missing. The future seems uncertain, and the problems are getting bigger, like the war in Ukraine and the climate change. The forces that reject democracy and against Europe becoming... Sorry. Yeah. No. The forces that reject democracy and against Europe becoming are gaining strength and becoming more important to our daily life. Like the EU election shows that far-right movements gaining strength. The future space, which in which the battle are starting, is the digital space. Our vision is to create a strong sense of community by promoting and enabling digital education for everyone, because a strong citizen of the EU is a good citizen, and a good citizen is good informated. We attach great importance to the competent use and conscious use of digital media. So, Jette with the solution.
Okay, so maybe it's different in your country, but digitalization in Germany is a big topic because many people and institutions are still struggling with it. With the education bike, we want to create spaces where people can meet and interact in person. Just because we're talking about digitalization, not everything has to be online, especially while working with people who have little to no experience with digital devices. So we want to bring society together and in contact with the opportunities and challenges of digitalization. By the way, the education bike is part of and financed by the Smart City Jena project. On the left of the next slide, you can see a design of the education bike made by an AI. On the right side, you can see a draft we made according to the material from the Volkshochschule in Jena. The education bike will be equipped with Wi-Fi and electricity, beamers, screens, microphones and speakers, and at least 2 work surfaces, which can be folded up for people of different heights, for example, for people with a wheelchair. All materials and texts will be available in different languages with big letters in easy read and braille, and there should be devices for reading out loud at all times. There will also be physical material, like, for example, a model of a firewall. And all devices like smartphones, tablets, laptops, and home assistants should be the ones that are currently on the market, functional, and with different operating systems. You can find more information about the education bike on our handout. Its QR code is on the first slide of our presentation, and please use the PDF version. There is the QR code. With the education bike, we want to reach different target groups from a young age up to high adulthood. For example, we want to engage students in digitalization by bringing the education bike into the schoolyards and starting competitions like who finds the most fake news in under 15 minutes. Also, we want to establish a driver's license for the internet to gain more competencies, for example, in cooperation with the Volkshochschule in Jena. Also, we want to start prevention programs and workshops regarding hate speech and fake news, as well as establishing the education bike as a place for career orientations by bringing together people from different professions to talk and discuss their work in the digital world. This way, the education bike is an introduction and a tool to make people aware of further digital education opportunities.
Our call to action. How can you bring yourself in our project? If you have the same problems in your country, like the social division through in the digital space, we would like to please you to bring or start our own project, like our education bike. It don't need to be a bike, it needs a place where people can meet in real life to bring us together in the digital room. Maybe you can become a media mentor yourself if you have special skills in digital offers. Donate your old devices that people can use them. Share the idea with your friends and family and bring, if you have ideas for us, bring them to us and let us know. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please ask them.
I have one question. So who's riding the bike?
The one who is the media mentor.
So do you think that also, for example, students could volunteer that? Because it's an existing project and would be a good idea to also include students in the realization of that bike.
If I'm correct, I know that the original project used volunteer people to help them. And I think they search also for volunteers. They bring their energy and power in the project. So it's need to be a bit of volunteering to do that, but it's worth it for the cause.
Thank you. Yeah, we have one last. Thank you, Jette, for joining us online. Thank you, Max. We have one more presentation before our little break. And I would like to ask the team from Pavia. And they had the challenge for international student housing. And we're really looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much. I think, yeah. So let me just check if the slides are right. Yep. Okay. So our presentation, as you can see, is about international student housing. And you can see the names of our team members, which are not here actually. I'm the representative. So in the presentation, we want to just introduce some strategies in order to improve international student housing. First, as an overview, we start with a diagram from ESU survey, which was done in 2023. And during that research that they made, if I'm not mistaken, there was about they questioned about 8,000 students, and about a quarter of them responded that they faced scams. About 41% that you can see they reported they had a lack of information in finding in accommodation, and the other one, about 50%, they faced excessive deposits for their accommodations. Next, so in general, in another report which was done by House Erasmus Research in 2017, they introduced some general problems that mobile students faced during their exchange programs. These are general ones. First of all, they were lack of quality information. So yeah, they found out that many of the students traveled to the host countries without having accommodation beforehand. So because they didn't know how to seek for accommodation. The other thing is the financial burden that they faced, the financial finances regarding accommodation and also finances regarding other aspects of the mobility. The other one was about quality assurance that they faced. They didn't know if the housing contract was valid or not, or if the address of the place was valid or not. The other thing was insufficient student housing. This is general. Some of them reported discrimination and fraud, like scams. And there were also problems regarding short-term accommodations and contracts making for short-term accommodations, and problems that trainees faced because they are not actually connected to a university, host university, most of them as commonly, but to a company. So student accommodations can be hard for them to find, and also language barrier and culture barriers. By introducing some ideas, our vision is to guarantee some financial safety for the students and have some platform for them to communicate better in order to find housing better, and they also can share information. The other thing, as an instance, was a request. It's a common request usually made to municipalities in order to renovate some old houses. So perhaps it helps the student accommodation. And okay, let's start with the actions. One of the first things that we mentioned, we actually all agreed upon was that, for example, in our university, there is the problem of students that do not have, there is no limitation for them to stay in dormitories. And for example, they may stay up to 4 years or maybe 5 years, we can see, even after graduation. But this is a case of problem for the newcomers. So they cannot go to a student housing, a student accommodation. So they need to go to the private market, and they may face challenges like contracts and the local language terms in the contracts, etc. So a restriction can be beneficial in this case. The other thing is just forming a team dedicated to verifying contracts. I mean, by verifying, I mean some terms are vague for students, maybe especially bachelor students or even master students who are just new to a new country. So they may not know the rules and terms. So somebody should help them. The other thing was that renovating older buildings. So yeah, this is a more of a general thing. The other thing was developing a knowledge base in local language for housing contracts, like which terms are, for example, related to condominium or everything special in the contracts, so they know about their rights and their and also the landlord or the landlady's rights. The other thing was an assurance for short-term contracts for students who stay in a place for about 6 months or actually less than a year. The other thing was about conducting a preference survey, because usually a situation students face is that they do not know about clearly how their housemates will be and how the culture of the place their living place would be. So that can be beneficial for them even in deciding for the accommodation if they find it. As for the call of the action, first of all, to the university, as we concluded, the first thing was that guiding the housing contracts in the local language. For this thing, as we thought, even a web page can be beneficial, where the key terms, the terminology, and the rules are clarified, and the responsibilities of the landlords and tenants are clarified in that country, can be beneficial. The other thing is a verified housing hub. It's a place that students can, it's an official place so that students can free-mindedly look for housing, and they shouldn't be worried about if it is valid or not, if the address that the person is advertising is not a scam or is real or not. Okay. Usually by housing hub, we can, for different countries, the one common is a Facebook page, but it can be any website or even, again, a Facebook page, but official, probably managed by a team from the university, so it can be official. The other thing was about providing guarantees for short-term students. As we know, it might have been in procedure right now by many universities that they update the number of students who are coming, incoming students or incoming students. So maybe this can be made with the help of student support organizations. They can create a support for students and the landlords, so that they know that some students are coming, so they willingly offer their houses. The other organizations for the call to action are student support organizations and municipalities. For the student support organizations, as we saw, the first one is accommodation policies. The first one was about putting some limitations, constraints on students to be in student dorms or student accommodations, so that at a proper time they leave the student accommodations. So because they are senior students and they more and better know the city and they know how to find the proper housing, but newcomers, junior students usually don't know, okay? And after that, another thing that is important is conducting a housing survey, like knowing about as I mentioned, culture of the lifestyle that the student prefers in order to go in a housing or not, and that can be beneficial. And after that, gathering that, they can match the students. The other call is again a general thing to municipalities to find a student housings that can be renovated properly, or even as we are dealing with city universities, they can be some adaptations in order to make some more houses for students. So thank you. It was the whole presentation.
Questions?
You think your solution could adapt to a broader audience? So beside the students, you can use it for immigrants or for normal people, for everyone. You think could scale to that point?
Regarding the solutions that we offered, the one thing that was majorly related to renovating older houses, that this can be general, but the other aspects, it's generally related to students. As you could see, updating the lists of the incoming students and limiting the stay of the students in housing in a student housing, student accommodations. So it's generally related to students. Yeah.
Thank you.